Hi, I'm Randy Orr at Talano.net. Today we're going to be talking about doing something that's really fun and creative with your digital pictures. You probably have one of these, which is a digital camera. You take hundreds and hundreds of shots, you put them on your computer, and you store them there. Look at them on your monitor or send them to a few friends. What kind of fun is that? We're all about taking the hundreds of pictures and doing something that's really fun and creative, and that's transferring them onto unique surfaces. So have a look on our website and tell us what you think. Let's just do a checklist to make sure you have what you need. The Baby Marble Magnet Kit instructions, a spreader, 4 2x2 tiles, sandpaper, 4 earth magnets, and Talano imaging paper. On this paper we've already done a photograph and printed onto the surface, so that's what you see is a layout of multiple pictures side by side. You should also have Talano medium to do the transfer. Okay, so now you're ready to seal the image and seal the marble tile. I'll take a little bit of the Talano medium, dip my brush in, get about ½ inch onto the brush, and on this piece of paper I've already done multiple layouts of the image, but I'm just going to do half of it for this segment we're doing right now. So just brush a nice even coat over the entire surface and just go back over it 3 or 4 times and then that's it, because you'll overwork the image and lift it off. But what I've done right there is just about what you should do. Now take the little bit more medium, take your tile and just coat the entire surface of the tile, kind of a cross hatch. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I know I have an even coat of medium onto the surface. Okay, now your paper's dry and you just have to cut out your image that you want to transfer onto. So I'm just going to take a little X-Acto knife and cut along the edge. And these are 2x2 images, so they sit just perfectly over our tiles. So that's the nice thing about doing them in a multiple layout like this. It's almost like a contact sheet. So there you go, there's your image and that's ready to be transferred onto the tile. The next step is to transfer your image right onto the tile. So take a little bit of medium again, coat the entire surface, much like you did the first time with the crosshatch technique. And I know I have good coverage. I'm ready to lay the image down. I just pick it up, lay it down, make sure I've got all the corners where I want them to be. It feels square. Take the spreader and just pull from the center out. And you should ooze a little bit of the medium around the edge when you do this process. Be careful not to get medium onto the back of the paper, because that doesn't help when you want to reveal the image. But what I've done here is exactly what you should be doing at home. Okay, now this is the really cool part. You're actually going to get to see what you transferred onto the surface. So I've already transferred onto all 4 little 2x2 marbles, and I'm going to take a little bit of water and dab it onto the surface. So the water soaks in on the back of the paper and you begin to see the image of what you've just transferred. I usually leave the water on for about 10 to 15 seconds. You can leave it on longer if you want, but if you're in a hurry, you might want to leave it at least 15 seconds. And then all we have to do is peel it off. You can also do this with regular paper transfers, and in that case you just have to rub and rub and rub the paper off and the image will be there. But we've done this with our Talano imaging paper and it should leave us a nice photo resolution picture every time. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go, your image is transferred, and now you have a little bit of medium that's oozed out on the edge. So you have the option of taking an X-Acto knife or a blade and burnishing the edge to get rid of that, or taking the sandpaper to sand it off. Okay, so now your image is transferred. All you have to do is trim the edge off. So I'm going to show you 2 different techniques here. One with sandpaper and one using a knife and a little bit of sandpaper. I usually like to take the sandpaper and fold it over into one fold and then another one over itself, and then I just take the edge and sand. Because the medium's nice and dry, it's usually pretty hard and brittle, so it sands quite nicely. And what I do is I rub the surface sort of at a 45-degree angle. That way you're taking off the medium that's oozed out, you get a nice smooth edge, and I like it because it kind of gives it a nice rustic edge around the appearance of the tile as well. So that's one with the sandpaper. Or you can take a sharp knife or an X-Acto knife and just burnish it across, much like I'm doing right here. And then you've got all the excess off. Just take a sandpaper, burnish the edge again, and that's it. You're done. Alright, the next step is to seal the image on the surface of the tile. So now just take a little bit of medium again, and much like you did on your first application of medium when you went on the tile, just do a nice cross blend with the medium. And this will really help to protect the image on the surface. So a nice crossover treatment to each tile. And it looks nice and glossy and wet. That means you've got a good coating on the surface. There you go. So now I'm going to let that dry for about 45 minutes, and then I'm ready to put the magnets on the back. So now we're going to mount the magnet on the back of the tile. Just take them and turn them over. And I'm going to dab a little bit of medium in the center of each surface. The medium is very strong, so you don't need much. Usually just a little dab will do you. So I'm putting on about, I guess maybe half a dime's worth of medium. That's all you need. Then take your 4 magnets, place them on the center, press firmly so it oozes out on the edge. That helps to create a little friction and makes the bond a little bit tighter so it won't slide on you. Roll it around, push tight, and you should see a little bit of wet medium oozing out on the edge. And there we go. Now you're just going to let the magnets dry. It can take several hours for them to dry. You can see this one's moving on me, so I'm going to press it harder and make sure I have good contact against the tile. Sometimes they'll slide, so you just have to keep an eye on it for a bit. But other than that, it should dry, and it should take about 12 hours to make it really strong, but about 6 hours if you're in a hurry.